Welcome to Politics Done Right on KPFT. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is the progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. Give me a call at 713-526-5738. That is 713-526-KPFT. Remember, you can also send me a tweet to EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is politics done right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. How are you doing today, my dear Don?
Your dear Don, I am doing great.
Well, aren't you my dear Don, my buddy Don, my brother Don, everything Don?
I am everything Don.
Well, you know, we're going to have a great show today, my friend. We are going to have a great show. I mean, like how should I say? Like no other, we are going to have a good show because today we are going to discuss some important issues that are going down.
Okay, I'm sorry. You guys stop using young people's terms.
Oh,
going down?
It's not going down? Oh, okay.
I'm trying to help you out.
I appreciate that, but you know, we have young followers. We have the 20s. And
yeah, but they don't use that term anymore.
They don't?
No.
You have to help me out, Don.
I'm trying.
That's why I want millennials as my producers, because they can keep me woke.
Okay. Once again.
Okay, Don. What now?
That term.
Yes, Don.
You know what? Woke. Instead of woke, let's just say independent-minded.
Okay, so I guess you are one of the independent-minded millennials who are you're going to help us change the world to the way it's supposed to be. Because you know what? I guess what you're telling me is a lot of folks are just out there posing, brother.
Well, yeah. A lot of people want to talk the talk, but won't walk the walk.
Well, you know what we do here at KPFT.
We
don't only talk the talk, we walk the walk, and we also execute. So, you know, we better get busy, my brother.
Yes, sir.
You know, we better get busy. Now, the only thing is you're probably going to get on my case again when I give the title of the show, but I'll hold on to that. I'll just hold on. But look, folks, we are going to have a great show today. The title of the show is We Continue to Distract Ourselves at Our Peril. Stay woke. I'm so happy that he's answering the phone because he's not got to come back to me and say, Egberto, why did you use that title, Stay Woke? But okay. I am going to use it while he's not responding. He's back. He's back. All right. He's back. Anyhow, before we go, here's what the show is going to be. But before we start, folks, I have an ask. An important ask. The page for Politics Done Right is at 24,500 folk, or probably 24,511. I want a 25,000 even. So anybody listening to the voice, go to the Facebook page, Politics Done Right with Egberto Willies, and like that Facebook page. Politics Done Right with Egberto Willies. Like that page, please. And while you're at it, go to the Twitter, Egberto Willies, and follow. Because with our show going daily as well, I want to have as much close contact with you as possible. And, you know, social media, we're going to, you know, we also have all the other Instagram and all of that, but we don't have that yet set up the way I want to have it done. So, but when I have that done, I'm going to call in on you guys to also follow so that we can have this community going strong. Anyhow, folks, there are a lot of distractions out there, and both parties love it for two distinct reasons. One of them is right. The other is blowing it. And I mean, the other is, in fact, blowing it. The Republicans passed a tax cut scam that will ultimately decimate the middle class for years to come if it isn't eradicated after the 2018 election. But while the tax cut scam bill was unpopular, Few Americans do not realize that for many, the pain will not hit them until they have no recourse. As such, Republicans, folks, Republicans are sort of in the driver's seat. Republicans do not want to talk about their tax cut scam at all. And with all the distractions that are happening right now, folks, guess what? They don't have to talk about all these distractions. We are giving them a pass. We're giving them a pass. We can't do that. The Democrats are playing perfectly into the hands of the Republicans. Like I have said many times, the American people can walk and chew gum at the same time. Progressives and Democrats need not concentrate most of their firepower on Trump. After all, he's not running. And he has proven that America, at least the important electoral college part, judges him on different metrics. So, whether those metrics are changing or not, maybe they will, maybe they won't. Maybe the Russians will help him in 2020 again. I don't know. But what I do know is that it's time to engage Americans and their representative politicians district by district. And I mean both federal districts and state district. Trump must not distract us at all. But folks, before I get to the program, I want to remind all of our listeners that KPFT is a bastion of intelligent voices and programs. As a political activist myself, my favorites are Think Wing Radio with
Mike Honig on Mondays at 9 p.m.
And of course, we have Partisan Gridlock with
Jeff Berg on Fridays at 3 p.m.
Yes, but let me tell you, Don kind of went in there on Friday, and I heard good things about Don really tearing it up for Jeff Berg. So, Jeff, you better look. No, I'm kidding. You know, Jeff is Jeff Berg, and there's only one Jeff Berg. And anytime any of us sit in Jeff Berg's seat, you know what it means? It just means that we're kind of holding a little space for the way he does his thing, which I love the way he does his thing. And of course, there's Open Journal with
Dwayne Bradley and Marlo Blue on Mondays at 6 p.m.
And of course, my favorite Jazz Latino Afro Cuban Latin Jazz at its very best, hosted by
Juan Flores on Tuesdays at noon.
Absolutely. And then, of course, we have our resident producer, the hardest working man at KPFT, the Human Condition at 3 p.m., followed by the Free Minstrel Show with Don and Dwayne at 4 p.m. on Fridays on the KPFT HD3 sites. And he has a couple other shows. And since last week, he told me, go find it out myself. I'm going to add those to this thing the next time around, Don.
That works.
All right. Anyhow, check out our full schedule at kpft.org, where you can find programming from music to politics to medicine to the eclectic. KPFT is listener-supported public community radio station. So please remember, if you like what you hear, visit kpft.org and ensure we remain a strong, valuable community radio station that provides news, programming, and information not influenced by whom?
The corporatocracy.
Absolutely so. Absolutely so. What are your thoughts, folks? Let's talk. Tag your tweets with hashtag politics done right. Follow me on Twitter, Egberto Willies. We broadcast live on Facebook Live. And also do remember that this is a call-in show. So no matter what part of the world you are in, you can watch us on Facebook Live. You can tune in at kpft.org/listen. If you're in the Houston metropolitan area, just go to 90.1 FM Houston. Listen to us on the good old-time FM radio. And if you want to talk, no matter what part of the world you're in, call 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. But as usual, before we get to the, and by the way, folks, again, this is a call-in show, 713-526-5738. But you know what time it is, right?
It's time for the weekly blog post.
Okay. The weekly blog post is titled, Let's Keep Our Eyes on the Ball. Oprah is just another distraction. And this sort of keys off of something that I discussed on my daily show yesterday. But I'm going to just kind of touch on it today because it's a lot deeper than that. But we're going to kind of just a little bit touch on it, my friends. We're going to just touch on it. And it goes like this. One has to admit, the one thing Donald Trump continues to drive the news cycle day in and day out like no other. It can be exhausting at times. News outlets, bloggers, and vloggers must decide what to cover. They tend to follow the same stories. Unfortunately, they tend to ignore the same issues. Many times, those that are even more important than the daily shenanigans of our great presidente. Again, we can't do that. Many bloggers and vloggers attempt to fill that gap. That's what you see us doing at Politics Done Right. That's what you see us doing at my blog, egbertowillies.com. Yes, we follow the same news everybody else is following, but we also try to cover the things that aren't generally covered as well. But it is not easy, as the big networks have the resources to drive their coverage offline and online. And we are also competing with space with those big guys. So whereas my stories on Facebook would hit the people's news feeds very well last year, the big guys realize, oh, those little guys are taking up our space, so we can actually afford to pay those costs to get ahead of you and be the ones promoting the story. So we need more of you. We need other ways to reach you. If you notice, I said, hey guys, I need you to like Facebook. I need you to like Twitter. I need you to like Instagram. I need you to like all those things so that we have a whole lot of different ways to reach you, because you know what? All these guys are buying up all the other avenues. And you know what's funny? Before I continue with this blog of the week, even emails, Don, even emails now are another way that we can directly reach our people, because emails are one to many, meaning politics done right to many. Where guess who can't come in between us? The big guys can't come in between us when we do emails. So go to my site as well, egbertowillies.com, and sign up for a newsletter, because that's how we also keep you informed. Anyway, and their coverage is shallow. Many times the coverage is shallow, except for a good few print journalists. I mean, there are some great print journalists out there that are really the ones who force the Russia issue. Rachel Maddow has done a good job as well in forcing the Russia issue, in as much as I think sometimes it's overdone, because there's a lot more she could cover as well, given her market penetration. She needs to do more. Except for a few good print journals, the news is severely lacking. This week's rave is all about President Oprah Winfrey, after she gave a great speech at an award show. Another celebrity to the rescue. Really. America does not need Oprah or any other media star to solve its problems right now. America needs a charismatic, politically and policy-oriented, experienced technocrat as president. Why? Why? I touched on that in my post. No to President Oprah. She would just prolong the country's economic dysfunction. And in that piece, I said the following: Oprah would just be another billionaire or celebrity leading a country where the wards of the plutocracy would have their technocrats roll her. Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, George Bush, and Donald Trump were all rolled. President Obama, while suffering some of the same circumstances, understood the plutocracy and played it the best he could under dire circumstances. It is doubtful that Oprah understands the systemic failure of our economic system. After all, it has allowed her to amass several $1 billion. An economic system in which a marginal effort or idea relative to others and implemented by others can create such a disparity in income and wealth is a failure. Would President Oprah sign a bill that restructures our economy to redistribute ill-gotten gains? She likely would not. It is time to disregard the traditional mainstream media and the stories they push as being the most important. We must keep our eyes on the ball, engaging poor and middle class America, ensuring we are addressing their issues. Recently, UK Labour Party leader Jeremy Corbyn started a concerted effort within his party in the UK to do just that. A focus on organizing with communities and groups of employees, helping them to campaign on local and workplace issues. He is meeting resistance from his party establishment, who, like ours, maintains the insanity tenet. And what's the insanity tenet? Doing things the same way over and over again and expecting a different result. No, baby, that can't happen. We can't do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. There are severe problems in America that need serious leadership on all levels to address. There are 3 challenging steps to achieve these. First, it requires the disindoctrination of Americans who believe our economic system is divine. It is not. It is human-made, designed to enrich a few from its inception. from the inception of this country. It maintains a preordained pecking order that allows a type of inconspicuous slavery. We must remind Americans that business and commerce is a two-way street with no one holding the trump card. Why did I have to say the trump card? As such, corporations should not have preeminence over the masses. Second, we must elect informed Congress people and senators who are willing to buck the system. They will face many headwinds. After all, the implementation of the Powell Manifesto has caused a near total indoctrination of many Americans and the political class. Third, we must elect a president that is different from everyone we have chosen so far. We need a charismatic person who understands economic system and their inner workings to ensure that the wards of the plutocracy are unable to snow her or him into policies that maintain the status quo. It is now time that we start asserting. It is time that we start asserting the worth of every single American. Those of you that are activists, that is our goal. That is our role. We have to prop up Americans. We have to prop up people. We have to let people know that they are valued and they have value. And if you know you have value, you execute. It is now time that we ensure every American is getting, we the people's fair share of the entire economy. Americans must understand that it is a two-way street. The wealthy owe us much. If we keep our eyes on the ball, if we stay away from petty fads and distractions, and Oprah was a petty fad and distraction, we can get the job done. Our empire is running out of time, and unless we attenuate our hubris, it is not the wealthy going down. They are citizens of the still functioning world order. It is the rest of us. Folks, this is a call-in show, 713-526-5738, 713-526-5738. And Don is so right. How can a rich black woman with a great speech suddenly become a favorite for the presidency with no policy positions? I love what you say, and the speech more popular than actual progressive policies. Man, you hit it on the money, Don. That is so true.
I'm just saying, I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I mean, we are a celebrity-driven country that and that is what hurts us.
Yeah.
Because, celebrities are great, but celebrities are some of the people are, we hit up, and I'm coming to the phones right now. Scott, you're next. But we don't hit up a lot of people, Don, that are celebrities because they carry the progressive mantra. Right?
Yeah.
But just the same way I speak about the stockbroker who makes a whole lot of money without undeservedly so, the actor who makes a whole bunch of money undeservedly so is in the same boat. Not because they're progressive it doesn't mean that it's a curbed economic system that is entirely and completely screwed. All right, let's get to the phones. And look, folks, I don't care how long you're in hold. If you make a call to me, you are gonna be heard. Even if I have to cut somebody else short because I want everybody taken care of. This is a real democratic show, my brothers and sisters. 713-526-5738. We still have a few more open lines. And let's go hot to Scott.
Thank you. Today I bought a book that is full of lies.
Yes, which one is that?
Yes, and it's interesting, but I would like to double check whether the lies in it are true.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I thought of Henry Holt as a reputable publisher.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a plus. And I find what I read pretty plausible. But of course, Republicans will deny it all.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you speaking specifically of, sir?
Let's see. Interesting that it says that Steve Bannon's plan was lose the election and declare it was stolen. Now, I think I did hear some of that from Trump in a debate. And I've heard Republicans say things like that as far back as 2013, that Obama was reelected through massive election fraud.
The thing about it, Obama being elected by massive election fraud, that is crap, right? I mean, if there was ever going to be fraud, it would be on the other side. I think here's what I honestly think. I think there's a whole lot of votes Obama didn't get because of election fraud. I think a lot of the machines themselves are rigged. In other words, Obama had 2 electoral blowouts. And not only 2 electoral blowouts, but he also had 2 popular vote blowouts, one larger than the other. I think the popular votes would have been much larger if we hadn't had a lot of restriction on voters. And I actually think that there are some of these machines that are definitely suspicious. If you doubt that, remember the election with John Kerry. Remember the election previous to John Kerry as well. And Don looks like he wanted to say something as well, Don?
Yeah, don't forget about yesterday, North Carolina is ordered to redraw its congressional map because of gerrymandering.
Exactly.
So that's part of actually, trying to rig the election. Yeah, rig the election.
Yeah. So I mean, there are a lot of these issues that are there, Scott, that are concerning. I don't think by any means, when you look at the people who make these machines having a bias towards the right, that somehow anybody on the left would get the benefits. Now, here's the second part to what you had to say that I do think have a lot of merit, and that is I don't think Trump ever really wanted to be president. I think he would have been much more successful if he had lost and was able to create a new business model. Because here's the deal. Trump's business model now has changed, right? Now it's he's using the what do you call it? That word.
A big name.
Or I forgot what the name is, but anyhow, he's using it, the presidency, to try to bring businesses to a lot of his properties. But here's the problem with that.
Are you talking about the emoluments?
Emoluments, that's the word I'm trying to use, right? He's trying to bring a whole lot of business to his properties. The problem is it's a two-way street. What he has done has lost him a lot of business elsewhere, and he's trying to get the other business to kind of prop that up. Now, had he lost the election, he would not have necessarily lost the businesses that he's lost right now, but he would have created a new revenue stream, and that is a new revenue stream from the white nationalists, right? He would have had the white nationalist revenue stream and its constant revenue stream, and of course, Steve Bannon was his abstraction layer. In software development, we call an abstraction layer something that you can detach yourself from, but it has the same interface. But anyhow, so that is where we're at. I don't think he wanted to win. I think he would have been a much more profitable for his business if he had lost. The Russians, I think, also didn't have a clue that he was going to win. They wanted to mess things up for him. But again, when they realized he was going to win, I think he could win. They saw it as, hey, wait a minute, we could actually get some of these sanctions removed. And then that's when they went into high gear. Anything else, John, you want to add?
One underlying thing is a massive right-wing propaganda machine.
Yes.
And I opened up by mocking them about book full of lies. Back in 2016, I did several postings on Facebook about the right-wing propaganda machine, and I quoted David Brock and somebody else, and I didn't seem to get much attention. It's hard to get people. I think it's often hard to get liberals focused on the right things.
That is what the program is about today. That's why you said the title of the program is "Let's Keep Our Eyes on the Ball." Oprah is just another distraction, because again, we tend to get distracted. And don't let me tell you something. We are no different. The left is no different than the right in as far as human nature. Okay, human nature has a tendency to want to get distracted on the common. The problem, the difference here is, liberals, progressives are generally a fact-based group of folk. Okay. And on the right, it's an most of the times
things that are not are mightier than things that are.
Exactly. And what happens then is you can mobilize those folks on anything. Now, the reason I think 2018 has a good chance of great mobilization is progressives mobilize after they feel the pain, right?
Okay.
The right wing mobilize in the presumption of pain. There's a difference.
Okay.
One, when I can mobilize you on fear, I can mobilize you almost all of the times. If I'm just mobilizing you when something affects you, even on healthcare, most people are not sick. Most people are healthy. Okay, when I say healthy, I mean substantially healthy, that they don't need a whole lot of medical care. So therefore, when the left is singing, we need to take care of healthcare and make sure everybody's taken care of. At any given time, only a small portion of the left wing is sick, and they don't see the urgency. They are not fearful until it happens. You know, so those are the distinctions in the mindset of these folks. And one of the goals that we have at Politics Done Right, at KPFT and other places, is to change the mindset of people, not to react on fear, but to react on the possibility of what can occur if you don't take a stance all of the times. I got to get to the other call. Scott, anything else you want to add rather quickly?
Yeah, I'm finished.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
You have a great one. And you're exactly right, Don, reaction versus fear-mongering. Okay, let's go to John on line number 2. John, how you doing, my brother?
Hello, hey, I'm driving, so I can't talk in great detail, but just real briefly, most of my in-laws in Texas and Houston think that Obama is a illegitimate president, and that's you can't talk him out of it. That's what it is. So why even bring it up? But I would like to know, since I'm driving, I won't be able to talk back to you, but what do you think the far-reaching tax scam is going to have on the average American? Because I've heard the average people will barely see any benefit from it at all long term.
I'm sorry, continue. I'm sorry, sir.
Okay, so if you're going to add anything to that, I'd like to listen to you.
Absolutely. So thank you for your call, sir. And folks, we do have more lines open, 713-526-5738, 713-526-5738. Today, all I see in my list of people are guys. I'd love to have the female point of view or the female questions as well. So please call if at all listening to, because again, this is a democratic program that has no touch of any of the isms. Okay, here's the issue with the tax cut scam. And I think it's very, very important that people realize this. Initially, quite a few people are going to see no benefit or a very slight benefit. I'm talking about the middle class and the poor, right? Some of the poor will see a little tax credit. Some of the middle class may see a couple of decades of money, $10, $15, $20, some $60 or so in benefits. And when they get their weekly pay, and they're going to say, wow, at least I can have an extra burger, or I can have an extra thing. You are getting that small benefit at the cost of the future. Let me tell you what I mean by the future. $1.X trillion in deficit created by this little bit of money that you're getting back, right? For that, the corporations get to bring in a whole lot of money from overseas at a very low tax rate. For that, a lot of corporations get their marginal tax rate cut from 30-something% to 20-something%. Big tax break. To keep you feeling like if somehow you're getting something, those big corporations that employ people because their windfall is so great, they're making noises saying, Walmart came out today and said, we are going to give our employees, instead of $10 an hour, I think it's $11 an hour is now our minimum. Oh my God! Because of Walmart is doing that, what landslide they've gotten in returns on the tax and on the tax bill, because they don't do anything for anybody. You get my point?
Yeah, but also don't forget AT&T also.
AT&T gave $1,000 to every one of their employees, and if they give $1,000, you know why? Okay.
Yeah, but they laid off 5,000 people.
Exactly. And you know what's so funny? I'm glad you reminded the listener who called and asked that question. You remember that. And also, that's a one-time thing. The tax cut is a permanent thing. So in order to get people over the hump, that's the kind of things that they do. So my listeners, there is a whole lot of scamming that went on with this tax bill. Now let's go to the deeper problem now. With a 1-point-something budget deficit added to the deficit created by this bill, guess what happened next? The Republicans come back and say, well, you know what? We can afford Social Security at the rates that we have now because we have this huge deficit. Not remembering or forcing you to forget that the reason you having this deficit is for the giveaway that they had to all the wealthy folks, that 1% that got the 80% or whatever percentage of this tax bill goes to them. So now the retirement of a vast number of baby boomers who thought they were conservatives, who thought they believe in right-wing policy, who thought they wanted this tax cut, are suddenly going to be screwed. But by the time they're screwed, these guys have already retired. Look how many of them are not going back to serve because they've done their job. They've given their wealthy benefactors the result, and they know they're not going to get reelected. So they say, what the heck, I'm not even going to run again because I'm getting my payoff.
Haven't we seen this before?
Yes, we have.
We have seen this before, and that's why so many people blame millennials for destroying everything. But the thing is the tax cut.
It's not millennials.
Yeah, it hurt us.
Yes, it hurts you more. And I am not going to blame millennials. In fact, I several times look into the baby boomer, into the Gen Xers and say, folks, because of our selfishness many times in looking for that immediate fix of a small tax cut, we've screwed our millennials and we've screwed quite a few others because we have allowed, and you know what's so funny? In screwing them, what we have done is screwed ourselves because now with the cuts that are going to be anticipated for Social Security, if we don't have a quick reversal of what's going on and much more, it's going to be bad. Our lines are filling up. Let's go real quickly to line 2 for Francis. Francis, come on in. Line 2, Francis. Hi. How are you doing, Francis?
I'm good. How are you?
Talk to me, my friend.
Well, I have another perspective on the tax cut thing.
Sure, let me hear it.
It's when you look at the bar charts on who's going to save and how much, and the very rich are going to be saving $35,000-$40,000.
Yes.
And the middle class and the poor are going to be saving these $1,500, $600 amounts. Look at what can be bought with those dollars. In 1 year, the very rich now they probably wouldn't buy a $36,000 car, but they could.
Right.
Whereas for $1,500 or $600 a year, that doesn't buy you a lot.
Right.
And so when people think about, I'm getting something back, you have to put it in perspective of what can be bought with those dollars.
Right. Okay. And to that, what should we infer, Francis?
Oh, well, what should we infer? Well, I hadn't thought any further.
Well, I can give you something to infer on that. Sure. If you'd like to hear my response to that, and it goes as follows.
I would.
Here's the deal. There's this stuff called, and I always use this, and so people who call my show knows this a whole lot. There's something known as the marginal propensity to consume in economics. And what that means is as follows. If I give a rich person $100,000, they may spend, they won't, the reality is that means nothing to them. They may not spend any of that. They may just throw that into a bank or throw it into some investment. However, if I give $100,000 to that one rich person, they may not spend it all. Now, if I give that $100,000 in the form of 10,000, or rather, in the form of $1,000 each to 1,000 people, right? What happens then is each of those people are going to likely spend all of that money. Economic activity is determined by the speed that money circulates in an economy. And what that does is the baker sells more, or rather the sandwich shop sells more sandwich, the theater sells more tickets, all these people sell more tickets, they have to buy more popcorn, they have to buy more bread, they have to buy all these things. So those people go to the bread maker, the bread maker then goes to the flour maker goes to, and it goes around and you create economic activity. The big lie in this country, and neoliberals, Democrats and Republicans alike, like to try to skew the data to somehow tell you tax cuts are a good way to stimulate the economy. The absolute best way to stimulate the economy is redistribution. In other words, an economy is man-made, human-made. I got corrected yesterday. Human-made. But you know what? I'm sorry, people who corrected me. It is man-made because it was man-made back when we'd started it in 1776, back into 1789 when the Constitution was finally ratified. So it's man-made. But anyhow, to humor everybody, human-made. So therefore, we can adjust the economic system so that it's more fair. That Bill Gates is worth $90,000. I'm sorry, he's not. He did that on the back of hundreds of thousands of employees. It's just the way we decide that we allow for the spoils to be distributed that allowed that. And the only way to mitigate that is through government and some sort of redistribution through taxes or some other form. So anyhow, if you distribute money in a manner that people will spend, then what happens immediately is the economy improves, and it improves for everybody, including the rich people. But why is it that they don't want that? We depend on an economy where there's gradation of success, where there's gradation of income, where there's the gradation of people's worth. Why? Because you know what? We still want them people who gonna sweep the floor for cheap. We still want them people who gonna clean your house for cheap. We still want those people who gonna cut your yard for cheap. We still want those engineers who don't think they are worth so damn much that they have to be paid well, while that businessman who created this type of economy does nothing. The stockbroker does nothing. The banker does nothing. The doctor heals. The teacher teaches. What else do they do? So the economy is screwed. Anything else you want to add, Francis?
No, that was it.
Thank you so kindly for calling, and please remember, tell people about the show. Watch the show on Facebook Live. Share the show. For those who are listening on Facebook Live, remember, share it, because a lot of this stuff you're not going to get covered on mainstream media, because it is not in the interest of the plutocracy to hear these things. John, line numero 3. Come on in, John. How are you doing, my brother?
Good afternoon, Egberto. How you doing?
I am great, and great to hear from you, my brother.
Okay, so I'm gonna open up with a couple of things just about your show.
Yes,
real
sir.
Quick. Yeah, I hope you're gonna get this thing with Blog Talk Radio going.
Yes, I am, sir. I am. I had to go get some parts yesterday. I had to get some support from Wirecast, because there's some issues and a few bugs in it, but we're gonna get it returned, because we got to hear your voice on that show as well, my brother.
All right, thank you. Okay, one other thing about the Facebook Live, that's a very glitchy format.
Yes.
And, my recommendation for you is to actually broadcast directly to YouTube, because that's what
Sam Cedar does that.
Do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Sam Cedar is doing on Facebook Live, and what I'm going at right now is that I can do both at the same time.
Right.
I have enough bandwidth. We have actually, hold on a second. First of all, folks, this is a call-in show. We still have open lines, 713-526-5738, 713-526-5738. Yeah, we have a whole ton of bandwidth, so we can actually broadcast to YouTube and Facebook. It's just that since the show has always been done on Facebook Live, that's what I've been doing. But point well taken. We'll eventually get there. So stick with us for a couple of weeks as we kind of get all the kinks out, and I think all our listeners will be satisfied in the long run.
All right. Are you going to be attending the Our Revolution Texas convention in a couple of weeks?
I should be attending the Revolution convention. But I don't have, I can't tell you for sure. I can't say for sure. I should be attending. I can't tell you for sure. It all depends on how different things work out with me right now.
You know it's in San Antonio.
Yes, I
right?
do know. I do know. And then we could probably meet, my friend.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, one thing about the tax cut scam,
Yes.
I think that people, really need to take themselves out of the picture. And I know that's like really hard,
yes,
because,
it is.
we're much more, our society is very oriented towards, personal satisfaction, and also, people want the best thing for their family.
Right.
But if you look at other Western societies, they focus more on the big picture, and I think that's why they have, single payer in many countries,
Right.
or healthcare that's affordable, and I just think that when I hear all these things about, how is this going to affect me?
Mm-hmm.
I understand that people are concerned about that, but, you also have to think about other people, and so, the biggest problem with this system is it redistributes wealth to the top.
Right.
You're talking before about, the rate going from 35% to 21%. But right now, when it was at 38%, the actual corporate tax rate that they paid was about 18%.
Yeah, exactly.
So now what is it going to be, between like 5% and 10% that they're actually paying?
Yes,
it's going to be ridiculous.
The answer to you, John, is yes, and that's why they came out with the shenanigans of giving people AT&T giving $1,000, and as Don said, then lay off 5,000 people. That's how they do the shenanigans, like Walmart giving $11 right now, but realizing that this tax scheme or this tax fraud is going to give them so much more than they could give the employees, more than $11 an hour. So that's what we're talking about. But here's the thing. And by the way, you are correct when you say that Americans a lot of times need to think more about not just themselves, but us as a society in general. But that's not where we are right now, John. So what we have to do is have the Johns of the world, the politics done right of the world, and all these other people coming together to try to put that into the brains. You know, here's a funny thing. Church used to be the place where you learned how to be empathetic, where you learned how to be altruistic. Church used to be the place where that came about. But the church in itself, the evangelical church, and my dear church folks that are the good ones, this isn't you, but much of the church has become so evil that they have actually adopted the policies of the right. I've written blogs where they try to equate Jesus with capitalism. That is the biggest fraud ever illustrated on or ever applied on anybody. The biggest anti-capitalist would have been Jesus Christ. And so, I mean, what we have is a decay in the morals of the society, and one of the largest purveyors of the decay is the church. And you church people that are good, I am not speaking about you, so don't get on my case for that. But go look at your pastors. Go look at what you support as the things that you value. Go look at what you think about when people talk about let's get CHIP going again. Let's see how many evangelicals are telling their representative, I don't care about anything else. Make sure to get CHIP passed so that our children can be well taken care of. You don't hear that, and that's the church. The moral decay comes from a lot of places you think it shouldn't have come. Anything else you want to add, John?
Okay, one other thing, just, I think that what Walmart did, they timed it to where it was good publicity, but the fact is that they're not competing against Target and all these other places who've already raised their minimum wage up to $11, and so it was just a convenient publicity stunt for them, because unemployment is so low that right now we're finally inching towards a little bit, just slightly wage increases, just because the unemployment's so low.
That is so true. I mean, at this point, we're hitting that supply demand kind of an issue with employment. And once you hit that part, that is where we start to hope we get some sort of inflation. The truth of the matter is inflation has been so low, bankers have been happy. We actually need some inflation to put these bankers in check. That's what we need. That's another economic class we'll do some other time. Anyhow, folks, anything else, John, before I go to Tad?
No, that's all right.
Or to Ted.
All right. Thank you very much, Egberto.
Thank you so kindly for calling, John. All right, let's go to Senor Ted, number 4. Come on in, Ted. How you doing?
Yeah, it's Tag, Egberto. How you doing?
Oh, Tag. How you doing, buddy?
Good. Listen, I really enjoyed seeing Oprah come out the other day and say what she said.
Yes.
And the reason being is because is she going to run for president? Heck, nobody knows about that. But she's helping to coalesce a group of people who we need active in politics.
Right.
Who's probably been sitting on the sidelines for too long.
Right.
So we need a lot of those people to come forward like Oprah and to get people involved in politics again. And so that's why I enjoyed seeing her step up.
No, look, I enjoyed to see that she stepped up as well to just talk, because a lot of times when she was in there, what she did is, look, Oprah has a base that she has to keep, right? And her base is not just the liberal base. Her base includes a whole lot of right-wingers as well, right? So, I mean, I can't blame Oprah for not taking certain positions. But because she's a capitalist, because she has to maintain her brand, because she has to do all of that, I don't want Oprah as any president, because Oprah can't lose her brand. She can't. So therefore, she cannot be president. The reality, if she became...
Like you say, her brand's going to come first, just like the Trump brand.
Of course. There you go. That's the magic, brother. That's the magic. Her brand has to come first. We need somebody in there who's a technocrat, who also is as charismatic as Oprah, who also knows economics, who also know policies and how to navigate the system. You know who would have... Obama was great at that, right? But Obama had so many headwinds. I mean, look, America wasn't ready for a black man. The mere fact that Obama could have won meant that he had what it took. And if you notice in the blog post I talk about, he was able to go around the plutocracy because he passed something that took care of 1/6 of the economy, right? No other president since Roosevelt did that, bar none. Don't listen to what anybody else tell you. No other president accomplished those big deeds that President Obama accomplished. None. He won't get the credit for that because of who he is and what he looks like. But that's okay. You have Politics Done Right telling you that kind of stuff. So anyhow, Tag, anything else you want to add before I jump to 10? And folks, we do have empty lines, 713-526. Hold on a second, Tag. 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Yes, Tag.
So what I want to say is that, I talk to a lot of people who are trumpets.
Yes.
And so many of them are indifferent about what's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
But, a lot of these people in particular, when you explain to them what happened with the Cole memorandum
mm-hmm.
in
you mean the Powell Manifesto?
The Justice Department,
yeah.
They changed the direction on that whole issue.
Mm-hmm.
So people are just saying, oh, well, that's crazy. And why would they do that?
Right.
And it's like, because that's the way they want to drive this bus.
Yeah.
So, and another thing I want to say real quick is that been hearing some stuff about Strom Thurmond. You probably know about him.
Oh, yeah, we sure do.
And in 48, when he was running against Truman, he came out and said, if the policies of the Great Society is not reversed, we will soon be in a totalitarian government because of it, and because of the Great Society laws. And I just thought that was fascinating. And then another thing Strom Thurmond told people was that if you want to be a good Christian, you have to be a Republican. and I just thought that was insane.
It's not only insane, it is crazy nuts.
Yeah. So anyway, I think these are some of the reasons why this Republican philosophy is so deeply entrenched in our society today. We have to break down those barriers and tell people, you do not have to be a Republican to be Christian.
Right.
That's ludicrous.
Right.
So I'll go. Thanks, Egberto.
Thank you, Tag. You keep on listening, keep on calling. And folks, don't you forget to share these programs. This is the only way we're going to get rid of the plutocracy. Tag, line numero, or rather, let's say, I think you have two up. Let's go, Craig. Come on in, Craig. Craig, you're hot.
This is the first time I've heard your show.
Yes, sir.
It's amazing to me because you're right on target. Very few people are analyzing this correctly, but you're absolutely on target.
Thank you, my brother.
I'm just amazed. I'm in a rental-car, and I usually am on satellite radio, and they don't have it in here, so I turned to the station. I was looking for a talk program. I ran across yours. I'm going to make you a mainstay because you're absolutely on target. I do a lot of studies, a lot of reading, cross-section, economics, politics, history, and it amazes me when you made statements about the church. 97% of the church supporting Trump, which means 97% of the people that are supposed to have the light that people can come to out of the darkness are in deep, deep, deep darkness. And very few people embrace that and understand that. I've done a complete history study. It had nothing to do with Martin, Georgia. It was all about money.
You're absolutely right, Mike.
You're on target. I just want to encourage you to keep going, keep talking, keep pushing. It's just amazing. I can't believe I ran across someone out of the many that actually did it. It's just absolutely amazing. I appreciate you, and I'm going to put you on my list of people to listen to.
Thank you, brother. Let me ask you to do something else because we're now a daily show, so you can also reach us on the Facebook page, Politics Done Right. And as John called in earlier, we're going to be on YouTube as well. We are on the YouTube channel already. And don't forget, go to the website, egbertowillies.com and politicsdoneright.com. That is how we're going to get this stuff changed. Okay, brother?
All right. I appreciate it.
You have a great one now. All right, let's go to numero tres. John, come on in, John.
Egberto?
Talk to me.
Yes, sir. Hey, I noticed that you all were talked about. Oh, sorry.
I see you just got a call, man.
You talked about the church involvement in the politics.
Yes.
I do know the majority of Christians, they do stay away from politics, though, because they do respect the fact that separation of church and state. and that they believe that politics is, to them is very worldly.
You know what is so interesting, my friend? There is one religion, the Jehovah's Witnesses. The Jehovah's Witnesses won't touch politics with a 10-foot pole. Okay?
Oh, yes.
Now,
exactly. And I know a lot of Christians, unless they come in with a moral decision, but most of them don't want nothing to do with it.
Right. Now, evangelicals are heavy into politics. And evangelicals are one of the only growing religions right now. If you take a look at the religion is falling apart right now in the United States, and that's why they're trying to commercialize themselves and do things the way they're doing it. What you're saying about them trying to stay out of politics used to be true. It is no longer true. And so, I mean, whereas in the past that was the case, today it's not the case. But what's bad about that is because, you know, when I talk to you on facts, I can say, hey, this is a mathematical certainty. I can tell you that this is that I can give you the formula for XYZ. Now, if you tell me God tell you to do something, I can't tell you a damn thing, right? Because God told you, man. This invisible thing, I mean, you can believe it. I mean, that's fine. I'm a humanist. I respect Christians. I respect Muslims. I respect all of that.
Right.
But if you come to me and tell me God told you to do that, I don't have an answer for you. I don't. Right, Don? Do I have an answer?
No, of course not. And that's why a lot of the Christians, they cannot stand like mega churches like, Trinity Broadcasting.
Right.
That they bring, Phil Buchanan. They send him out there to do politics. And,
right.
You know, I could say a lot of Christians, they cannot stand that guy.
Hey, buddy, I'm kind of running low on time, so I'm going to have to let you go. But thank you so kindly for calling. And don't forget, go to politicsdoneright.com. I've tried it. I'm talking about the one on the Facebook page now. We're at 24,500 something people. I need to get that baby up to 25,000. All right, let's go to Gary. Gary, number one. Thank you for calling, John. Gary, come on in. And we're going to talk about population again, Gary?
No, Egberto, I heard you talking about Jehovah's Witnesses.
I know you are one?
No, I am not, but
okay.
I want to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
You know what you get when you cross a Jehovah's Witness with an atheist?
I hope you're going to tell me something nice because I don't want my listeners to slice me up. So go ahead. I'll let you go. Go.
Well, do you know what you get when you cross a Jehovah's Witness with an atheist?
I know you're going to tell me.
Somebody who knocks on your door for no reason at all. Bye-bye, man.
Is that what you wanted to say?
Yeah, well, I called earlier, but you got into all the money and politics, so I just thought I'd brighten your day a little.
Well, you know what, Gary? You always brighten my day, buddy. Okay, you always do, but I still haven't heard that thing from you yet. You're supposed to get on the page and give me some info, but we talk later, brother.
All right, we'll do it.
Have a good one. Okay, Ted, número dos. Ted, número dos. Hey, Ted, what's up?
Okay.
You're on, Ted.
Hey, yeah, I was calling because I was listening to some. It was actually on this station, and I was concerned they were very, I guess, on the far left of the Democratic Party.
Uh-huh.
And you're talking about let's not lose sight of the ball.
Yes.
There were these people, and they were just they were talking about the corporate Democrat and all this sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
And I'm concerned that we're going to do the same thing that we did
in 2010,
in 2016, and most notably in 2000, I guess.
Right. I get your drift.
Yeah, we break up.
We're not going to break up.
Somebody's perfect because he's not.
I got
you. Let's say, I don't know, Biden is supposedly, I guess, more centrist than Bernie Sanders.
Right. Ted,
and then they split in half.
Ted, let me tell you something. I was a Bernie Sanders delegate in Philly, okay? And one of the things a lot of us Bernie Sanders delegates did is exactly what you're talking about. Try to mitigate that split because you're absolutely right. You don't want a split. But at the same token, you have to, we fight during the primaries, all right? We fight like hell during the primaries. And the reason we do that is where things happen. That is where you get the most progressive candidates you do. And then you support the person who is on the most progressive ticket going forward. That is what you do.
The most progressive that you can get elected.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. But here's the deal. We have to remember something. And I don't know how soon you moved into the program, but America is a progressive nation. Forget what the news media tells you. The plutocracy wants you to believe that we're less progressive than we are, and it tells people to believe that there's something wrong with progressivity. But whenever you ask them the values that they have, whether it is social programs, whether it's all these other types of programs, you ask the questions and you break
60%.
Right. So here's the deal, brother.
I like 98% backed up, background check.
Absolutely.
For people who buy automatic weapons, but you can't get it done.
Well, here's the problem: narrative, and you've hit the money. With I don't criticize any show whatsoever. What I do is I work with my show, and what I try to do is as follows: we are not going to try to split folks up. We're going to try to change the narrative. If you put the narrative correctly, right? Look, put it this way: I can guarantee you, those guys that you heard are no more right. They are not more left than I am. I'm probably as left as you can go. But my narrative will not necessarily put it in that nature, because that nature the plutocracy has taught you not to sell. So therefore, you skin the rabbit, or you skin the cat, or whatever the hell you want to skin appropriately. And that is what I try to do with the folks on the left. That is what I try to do with our revolution. That is what I try to do with the democratic socialists. That is what I try to do with all these guys.
I had another question for you.
Go ahead.
Are you, I think that,
Teammate.
Right now the tax rate is way too low. And we
Agreed.
could be spending that money on things like infrastructure.
Okay, sir, I only have a minute left, so schools, make it quick if you don't mind.
But, yeah, by the way, if you invest in schools and roads and
bridges, everything,
progressive powers, whatever infrastructure, you get a like 7 times payback.
Thank you. That is what we spoke of earlier. The marginal propensity to consume is one thing, and the other thing is the circulation of money based on what you're putting out there. And guess what? When you have infrastructure, that happens. Hey, brother, thank you for calling, Ted. Remember to keep listening to the show, keep calling. And also keep sharing. All right, brother?
Okay, take care.
All right, folks. This was one more edition of Politics Done Right. Thank you so kindly for listening. My name is Egberto Willies, and check us out mañana. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much for listening to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. You can personally reach me by sending an email to egberto@politicsdoneright.com. Remember, Egberto is spelled E-G-B-E-R-T-O. Change starts with you. 90.1 KPFT gives you information not tainted by corporate interest. Please visit kpft.org and contribute. Let's ensure continued access to real information and news remain available to all. Again, thank you very much for listening to Politics Done Right.